You know that feeling, right? You open a medical bill, and it's just a complete puzzle. A bunch of codes and charges that make absolutely no sense. Well, if you've ever felt that way, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the massive, hidden system that creates those confusing bills.
See, every single time you go to a doctor, this huge, mostly invisible financial machine just grinds into gear. It's this whole journey that involves your doctor, coders, billers, and of course the insurance companies, all trying to figure out who pays for what. It is so much more than a simple transaction.
So it really makes you wonder, and I bet you've asked this yourself, why? Why on earth does this have to be so ridiculously complicated? What is going on in the background that makes all this so confusing?
Well, the answer is kind of stuck inside what a lot of people in the industry call a black box. It's this whole system that's just jam-packed with complicated rules, thousands of codes and processes that honestly feel like they're designed to be confusing. And all that leads to a ton of inefficiency and frustration.
And look, this isn't some exaggeration. We're talking about a world run by incredibly dense regulations. For instance, just look at the Tennessee Code for workers' comp. It has pages and pages of super specific rules for very specific situations. Now imagine that multiplied by countless other state, federal, and insurance company rules. You start to get the picture of why this whole thing is such a tangled mess.
So how in the world do hospitals and clinics even try to manage all this chaos? Well, they use a system called Revenue Cycle Management, or RCM. Let's crack open that black box and take a look at how this whole cycle is actually meant to work.
Okay, so at its heart, RCM is basically the entire financial story of your visit. It covers every single step, from the second you call to make an appointment to the moment that final payment hits the hospital's bank account. The whole point is to make that journey as smooth and, error-free as possible.
We can actually break this whole thing down into three main stages. First up, you've got the front end. That's all about getting you scheduled and making sure your insurance info is correct. Then comes the middle part, where all the care you receive gets documented and turned into billable codes. And finally, there's the back end, which is all about sending the bill to the insurance company and collecting the money. Sounds simple enough, right? Not so much.
Because here's the thing. When any part of this super intricate cycle breaks down, even a tiny typo when you're registering at the front desk, the financial fallout can be absolutely massive. It just pulls time and money away from what really matters, taking care of patients.
So just how big is this problem? It's huge. A recent survey found that a shocking 41% of healthcare providers are seeing more than 1 in every 10 of their insurance claims get flat out denied. That means a huge chunk of the work they do isn't getting paid for, at least not without a fight.
And the cost to fix all these mistakes? Get this, $19.7 billion. That's how much American hospitals spend every year just chasing down and arguing about those denied claims. The bottom line here? This isn't just a little headache, it's an enormous financial drain on the whole healthcare system.
But what if you could spot and fix those errors before they even happened? This is where the story really starts to get interesting. It's where data analytics comes into the picture and starts to completely transform this broken process.
And the difference is just night and day. Think about it. Before analytics, billing teams were always playing catch-up. They were totally reactive. They'd only find a problem after a claim got denied, and then it was just manual guesswork trying to figure out why. Problems stayed buried, and money was just lost. But with analytics, the whole game changes. They can be proactive, see problems as they happen, make smart decisions based on real data, and actually optimize their revenue.
I absolutely love this analogy from our source material. It says analytics works like a central nervous system for the whole revenue cycle. It's constantly monitoring everything, sensing the health of the system, and if it spots something wrong, like, say, a sudden spike in denials from one insurance company, it sends out a signal, an alert, so the team can jump on it right away.
Okay, so that all sounds great, but talk is cheap, right? What does this transformation actually look like in the real world? Well, the proof, as it always is in the numbers. Let's check out the actual impact of using a data-driven approach.
This table really says it all. Let's break it down. In a typical, inefficient system, denial rates are creeping up over 10%, but the top performers, using analytics, they get that number down below 5%. Or how about days in AR? That's just the average time it takes to get paid. It goes from over 50 days to under 40. And the clean claims rate, basically the percentage of claims that sail through with zero errors, that jumps from under 90% to over 95%. These aren't just tiny little adjustments. These are total game changers. And believe it or not, this whole transformation is really just getting started. The future of healthcare finance is about to get even smarter, way more automated, and a whole lot more efficient, all thanks to tech like artificial intelligence.
So what's on the horizon? Well, imagine AI that can actually predict which bills are likely to get denied and flag them for a human to fix before they even go out the door. Or think about AI chatbots helping patients understand their bills anytime, day or night. We're also seeing autonomous coding that's faster and more accurate, and a much, much tighter link between your clinical records and the financial side of things.
And all of this leads to one last really big idea. For decades, a huge amount of time, money, and just pure brainpower in healthcare has been sucked up by the incredibly complicated business of just getting paid. So as technology and data keep making that business side better and better, it raises a really hopeful question. Can we finally start to shift more of our focus back to what actually matters, the health of the patient?